Shabbat Shalom, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
And welcome. I'm Rabbi Melinda Pankin,
I'm Rabbi Falco.
I'm Cantor Wally.
and we're very happy to welcome you to our wonderfully famous Shabbarbecue with pre-COVID numbers in attendance. Hooray!
Right.
So nice to see a lot of faces that we really haven't seen in a long time, and a lot of faces we see every Shabbat. And I hope we'll see more of you as we continue with our snow cone Shabbat and sushi Shabbat and all the fun things we have ahead. As our service begins, just a reminder, we all play a role in security. If you see something, please feel free to reach out to our guards and our receptionist in the synagogue. If you have a cell phone, we ask you to just take a moment and turn it off so as not to disturb our worship. And we also ask you to refrain from playing in the playground until services are over, and then the playground will be open and you are free to ride the dinosaur. As we gather, I really encourage you, wonderful people here, look around, find someone you don't know, introduce yourself to that person, and wish them Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Good Shabbos. I'm Fabian Burston, your temple president. I want to welcome you to our Shabbarbecue series. And so I think we know what the secret is to getting people to come to services. And I think that's food.
Hot dogs.
And ice cream, I guess, because the ice cream Shabbat was a big thing as well. So it's really good to have a big crowd, and it's good to start building our community the way it should be with a lot of people coming to services. The first thing I want to say, I mentioned this the last time, I think it's important for our community to get involved, and we're always looking for people to participate in committees. So if anybody wants to participate, whether it's in the ritual committee, the men's, being in the men's club group, or lifelong learning, or whatever, please come up to me and or anyone within our senior staff or our board of trustees. We'd love to hear from you and love to have active participation within our committees. So this Shabbarbecue Shabbat doesn't happen by itself. We have a lot of people helping out, and so I want to just first thank the people who are going to be helping us out during the cooking and everything. So we have our grill masters are going to be Scott Edison and Brandon Jacobs. So I want to thank them for cooking the food. I'm not sure where they are, but I think they're cooking
They're at the grill.
someplace.
They're back there by
They're
the
back there, okay. I know Melissa Pescatori is putting the marshmallows together for our s'mores. And of course, someone's got to put the chairs out, and someone's got to put the chairs away, and got to clean up after everything. So I think Martine and Chino are around here someplace doing that. So we want to thank them as well for all their hard work. And anybody else who's And obviously Stuart puts all this together and put the whole summer series together, so we want to thank him as well. A couple other announcements. Torah study is every Wednesday at 11 o'clock with Rabbi Pankin, and on Saturday at 9 o'clock with Jonathan Falco. As I said before, it's a great opportunity to get to meet our rabbis, to get to learn with them, and to, again, build that sense of community within our group. And then we have Minyan every Saturday at 10 o'clock. If you're interested, we'd love to get more people to participate in. I'm going to be joining, so hopefully we can get some more people in our congregation to join as well. So just a couple other big things that are happening. We have our sisterhood is having an event at Applebee's at 7 o'clock on July 21st. It's a great opportunity to meet them, and if you want to get more information, you can reach out to the presidents, Dr. Brooke Barron and Allison Milbrod. I think I told you the last time the men's club played in a softball game, we lost, but we're going to have another opportunity to play on July 24th. So if you're interested in playing softball, please contact Josh Klein. And then, of course, we want you to save the date for our Renaissance brunch on Sunday, August 28th at 11 o'clock. It will be here at the temple, and if you're interested, please reach out to Laura Bursey, and she'll give you more information on that. Last thing I just want to mention, if there's anyone here who is not a member of our congregation, is looking to join us and experiencing their services here, if you're interested, certainly you can reach out to me, you can reach out to our clergy, or you can reach out to Stuart Brown for more information. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you.
We're going to begin on page 3 with the lighting of the Shabbat candles in the Kiddush. And it is a wonderful pleasure to invite up 2 of our founding members. We started with 9 families who put up an ad in the paper inviting people to come to the Trotters and Pacers Diner to come talk about creating a Jewish community. And Alan and Barbara, Alan was the first president of Temple Shariamath, and Barbara was the first teacher along with Sandy Whitehouse in their basement, right? Close enough. Okay. Ask her the story after services. So it is my pleasure to invite up Alan and Barbara Pecor.
Okay. The arc of evening, slowly turning. The sun's blue shadows washed away. The gates still open as 3 stars wait to pierce the sky. In the corridor where night bears its maze, you begin to begin again. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed is the Eternal One, Sovereign of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let us hallow the Sabbath day in remembrance of creation. As we bless the source of life, so are we blessed.
And we continue with the Kiddush on page 4.
Stars reflect off heaven's hem as Shabbat enters quiet. Other, over, away all week. Shabbat is the fruit of 6 days imagining.
Hushed and soft with tender smile, Shabbat greets us as we raise our cups. Shabbat perches upon the rim and nods as we bless and praise and remember.
Come again to us, gracious host. Fill our hearts with peace. Come sing with us, sweet singer. We will fill our mouths with praise.
Surround us with Shabbat's beauty, all time and a day. Surround us with the faces of our dear ones, now and then and still to be.
Come again to us, gracious host. Come again as Shabbat is seated at our table. Come sing with us, sweet singer, as Shabbat fills our home with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ava u'vratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehillah Lemikra Kodesh, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, Ivanu Vacharta, Veotanu Kidashta, Mikol Hamim, V'Shabbat Kodshecha, Ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. On page 5, Lecha Dodi, we welcome the Sabbath. La la lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'liti la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haveracha, merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri shir daberi. Kevod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom materet bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We turn the page. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen.
If you're like me, your week is spent thinking about the next task that needs to be done. The laundry, the bills, the work, the kids, the parents. There's so much to do, and I enter Shabbat with all of that in my head. But this week, there was a moment of awe. How many of you saw those beautiful pictures of space with all the galaxies? There is a telescope that has taken pictures of places in space we haven't seen before, and all of a sudden, we realize we're not alone, right? And we come together, and we're not alone. And we come together to do exactly what that picture did for many of us, which was to say, how amazing is this world? How much we don't know, how much beauty there is out there. And so when we gather for Shabbat, and especially when we say Baruch Hu and we begin to talk about blessings, we are saying how magnificent is this world. It is so much more than laundry and bills and school and work. There is majesty and awe wherever we look. Shabbat is about stopping to look for it.
Page 7, our call to worship. La 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 Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. La 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 la.
Continue with Ma'ariv Aravim in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla,
גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
At the bottom of page 8. With the numbers of those here recounted, our ancestors, God led us into the wilderness, divided the Red Sea for us, spoke to us from the fires of Sinai, revealed God's self to Moses in a rushing wind.
Earth, water, fire, and air, these are the elements of our existence.
God gave them to us on the day of creation, gave them to us at the time of the Exodus, gives them to us every day of our lives.
Oh, praise God, whose law is a gift to everyone, as free as fire, as near as air, as basic as water and earth.
Oh, praise God, the rock and the ground of our being, who gives us the fires of faith, the breath of spirit, the still waters of peace.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God.
Page 11, we join together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, for soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו. אדוני מלוך, אדוני מלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 11 on the bottom. Where will I find God whose glory fills the universe?
I find God wherever the farmer plows a furrow through the hard soil,
Wherever the quarryman pounds the stone to gravel.
Wherever one earns her bread by the sweat of her brow.
In the company of the friendless, the afflicted, the lowly, the lost.
there God abides in sun and shower.
I find God wherever the mind is free to follow its own bent.
Wherever words come out from the depths of truth.
Wherever tireless striving stretches its arm toward perfection.
Wherever people struggle for freedom and right.
Wherever the scientist toils to unbear the secrets of nature.
Wherever the poet strings pearls of beauty in lyric lines.
Wherever glorious deeds are done.
I find God in merry shouts of children at play.
In the lullaby the mother sings, rocking her baby to sleep.
In the slumber that falls on the infant's eyelids.
And in the smile that plays on his sleeping lips.
Toward the bottom of page 12, please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Tomech nofalim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umkayem emunato, Lishenei afar, ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated.
Page 14 on the bottom. For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and sun, we thank you.
For the blessings you implant within us,
joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we are grateful to you.
For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community,
for the blessings we ask of you and those we cannot ask.
For the blessings you would bestow upon us openly and those you give in secret.
For all these blessings, O God of the universe, we thank you and are grateful to you.
For the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize.
For the blessings of our tradition and of our holy days.
For the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision, and of hope.
For all these blessings which surround us on every side, dear God, hear our thanks and accept our gratitude. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki atahu melech adon vechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon vechol hashalom. Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. 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 Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We pause for a moment of silent prayer. Yiyu leratson imrefi Vehegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali Iyu leratson imrefi Vehegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali
We always take a moment in our service to say a prayer for those who are ill and those who are in need of healing and wholeness, be it of their body, their mind, or their spirit. This evening, we especially call to mind in our prayers Daniel and Mindy Minerva, Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Brian Roche, Ron Klug, Arlene Schwartz, Harriet Domro, Kate Ratner, Ron Labovitz, Elisa Foreman, Lynn Norott, Mort Cohen, Mel Crystal, Brian Lynn, Jordan Horowitz, Jack Block, Grayson Shukovsky, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Brody Scher, Vera Schwartz, Samuel Finkelstein, Alexander and Eugenia Litovskaya, Rachel Orenstein, Alan Jacobs, Debbie Pincus, Karen Martinez and John Allen, Susan Reish, Joyce Welkes, Harriet Marcus, Littman Bear Ben Shalom Vachaya, and Jared Naratsky. And we certainly hold in our hearts all those who are recovering and afflicted with COVID-19 and all those who are suffering in the war in Ukraine. If there are others that we should mention this evening, people who could use a blessing of healing, I invite you to just simply say their names aloud now. For those we've named, for those we haven't, and for those we name silently in our hearts. Misha Beirach Avotinu V'Imotinu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who are ill. May their doctors and nurses be skillful and compassionate. May those who care for them find support and comfort. And may they all be granted Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, the complete healing of body and spirit, as together we say.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Mekor HaBaracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Beirach Imotenu Mekor HaBaracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
In a small village, Reb Chaim was the richest Jew in town, and Reb Yankel was the poorest. Every Friday, as Shabbat approached, Reb Chaim would come to the synagogue in his finest Shabbos coat and the most exquisite fur hat. Probably wasn't the summertime. He always arrived early so that he could stroll through the synagogue and exchange greetings with all the other congregants before he took a seat, just like we do today. As the service came to an end, Reb Chaim would rise, wish the congregation a good Shabbos, and then step up the hill to his magnificent mansion. The butler met Reb Chaim, took his coat and his hat, and showed him to the regal dining room. Reb Chaim, of course, would sit at the head of the table with the finest set of china, silverware, and crystal. Reb Chaim was served the most remarkable Shabbos meal. Anyone take a guess what was on his table? Chicken, there was some chicken, maybe some turkey burgers. Depends, brisket, maybe brisket, yeah, exactly. Soup, we're getting to it. We're making our way to a feast. Gefilte fish, it's actually on here. Gefilte fish, for sure. Although all of that accompanied by the sweetest, most heavenly challah. But none of it brought Reb Chaim joy, for he was alone. Reb Chaim had no family and no one to share Shabbos with, neither he nor his meal. And one day, Reb Chaim realized that he needed to share his magnificent Shabbos feast. Who is worthy of sharing my Shabbos feast? Only God, he decided, and a plan took shape in his mind. "Bring me the baker," he cried. So the baker comes out of the kitchen. "Yes, sir. Is there something wrong?" "Wrong? Your challah is amazing. So good that next week I'd like you to make 2 extra loaves. 2. Make sure they're the best. I'm bringing it to a friend. And pack it up for delivery." "Yes, sir, of course," the butler replied. That night, Reb Chaim enjoyed his Shabbos meal as he never had before. In fact, the whole week seemed to go better than usual. When the next Friday evening arrived, Reb Chaim left for the synagogue unusually early because under his arm he carried a package that was still warm from the oven. What do we think that might have been? Some good, fresh, warm challah. Reb Chaim entered the synagogue before anyone else arrived. He walked slowly to the ark. He stood there and made a prayer. "Master of the universe, each week I enjoy a magnificent Shabbos meal. This week, I want you, God, to share my feast. So I have brought you challahs. Even you, God, have never tasted challah so good. I wish you, God, a good Shabbos." And with that, Reb Chaim opened the ark, removed the challahs from the package, and tucked them behind the Torah scrolls. Now, Reb Yankel also went to synagogue on Friday night. Who's Reb Yankel again? The poorest, right, the poorest Jew in town, that's right. Now, he typically arrived late to shul because he was forever trying to get in his last bit of work before Shabbat started, always trying to get it in, and so he would always come late and come in his work clothing, a little disheveled, and sit in the back. Very different from our Reb Chaim. After services, Reb Yankel would walk briskly, though, to his very tiny home, where he shared it with his wife, his children, his wife's parents, his wife's widowed sister, assorted nieces and nephews. He had a huge family. They were all living with him in this very tiny home. But most importantly, he struggled to support all of them. No matter how meager his meal, though, the uncle cherished the spirit of his family's Shabbat table. So, normally, Rabbi Yankel hurried home from the synagogue. But not tonight. It had been a bad week, a bad month, a bad season. Each week, Yankel's family had less and less to eat. And tonight, he couldn't bring himself to face his family over an empty table. So, as everyone left the shul, Yankel sat. When he was finally alone, he approached the ark, stood there for a few minutes, and then he made a prayer. Master of the world, how can you send me home to see my children hungry for food? You know how hard I work. Without your help, God, I'm not leaving this sanctuary. And he pounds his hands on the wooden ark, and the door is open, and out come two fresh, beautiful, warm challah. It's a miracle, he cried. Thank you, dear God, thank you. And so he runs home, places the challah on the table. His wife has a bite, and she says, where did you get such rich challah, Yankel? And he says, it was a gift, a miracle of God, an answer to my prayers. Now let us eat and celebrate. It's Shabbos. It would be difficult, however, to measure where there was greater joy in the village that Friday night. In the tiny poor home of Reb Yankel, whose children had never tasted challah so sweet, or in the mansion of Reb Chaim, who ate, drank, and sang his prayers with a new spirit, knowing that he was sharing in it with God. Now, the following week, Reb Chaim again told his baker to make 2 additional challahs and wrap them up. Again, Reb Chaim stood before the ark, offered his prayer. Master of the world, you must have enjoyed those challahs from last week, because the next morning, there wasn't a crumb remaining. I'm grateful that your Shabbos was as full and joyous as mine was. Enjoy, dear God, and I wish you a good Shabbos. Here are 2 more. So he puts 2 more challah in the ark. And with that, at the end of the service, when the synagogue was empty again, Reb Yankel humbly approached the ark and made his prayer, his same prayer. Reb Yankel timidly opened the ark, and much to his delight, out rolled 2 golden sweet challahs. It's a miracle, he shouted, again, and he danced his way home this time. This went on for a full month. Each week, Reb Chaim and Reb Yankel experienced the most joyous of Sabbaths. As the 2nd month began, Reb Chaim began to think, he's getting a bit more creative here. God is enjoying the challah. He keeps eating them. But it takes more than challah to have a memorable Shabbos meal. One needs good wine. What else does one need? Gefilte fish. Kugel, the sweet kind, I hope. or not. Kugel, gefilte fish, we got matzo ball soup, all that good stuff. And chicken. And the process repeated again, with more and more food being added each week. What do you guys think happened? Eventually, the congregants and the worshipers, they were sitting there and they're smelling all this amazing stuff, this aroma just emanating from the ark. And so as the rabbi is leading services, people are sitting there like, where is this coming from? Because eventually, it got pretty full. At the end of the service each week, Reb Yankel again would peek into the ark, and finding the now familiar packages, he'd collect his Shabbat miracle and run home to his family. These events went on for an entire year. Each week, Reb Chaim filled the ark with his gifts for God, and each week Reb Yankel accepted God's miracles. It was the greatest year in each man's life. Reb Chaim finally felt able to share his bounty and with no one other than God. And Reb Yankel knew that God had answered his prayers, that his family would no longer go hungry. Reb Yankel and his children stayed up late into the night singing songs of praise and thanks to God for that miracle. Now, as the year was coming to an end, something terrible happened. The shamus, that is the one who cleaned and maintained the synagogue, was running a little late. And just before the Shabbat service started, he entered the synagogue to sweep and set up the chairs. And as he worked in the back of the shul, he saw the strangest thing. Reb Chaim, that richest man in town, approached the ark, made a little quiet prayer, something about not leaving any breadcrumbs behind on Shabbos, and then that wealthy man placed all of his bags into the ark. All those hot dogs. The shamus knew that on Shabbat mornings, there were no bundles and bags in the ark. But who took them? Well, he decided to wait and find out. Sure enough, after the service ended and everyone had left the synagogue, there stood Reb Yankel, the poorest man in town, whispering a prayer about miracles. And also, last week's challah was a little overdone. He's getting a little used to things. The shamus watched as he, Yankel, took out the bags and bundles that Reb Chaim had placed there before the service began. The shamus realized what was going on, and he began to laugh, cruelly. His laughter startled Reb Yankel, who thought he was there alone by the ark. "You fool," the shamus said as he laughed. "Ha ha ha. Wait right there. Just wait 1 sec." And so what did he do? The shamus ran up and caught with Reb Chaim as he was on his way home, and he dragged the rich man back to the shul. The two men faced each other, both of them looking utterly rejected, completely disappointed, and spirit broken. The shamus laughed as he would ridicule them. "You, Reb Chaim," he said, "do you really think God eats your food each week? It's this beggar who's taken from you. And you, Reb Yankel, do you really believe that God hears your prayers each week and gives you a Shabbos meal every Friday? Wait until the town gets a load of this." So the shamus continued to laugh, and the spirits of both of them shriveled. Then, however, just as Shabbat ended, those two got a very urgent message from the rabbi. They were summoned to the rabbi's home. Now, the rabbi was a great and powerful mystic with deep, penetrating eyes, and to receive a summons to her house filled both of them with awe and fear. The rabbi sat at her desk, staring at a holy book, shaking her head, groaning in sadness. "I had a terrible dream last night," she said. "God was terribly angry, and he was ready to destroy the whole world in anger, for something precious and holy had been destroyed. So I pleaded with God, I begged, let me try to fix it. I'll fix it, let me do the best I can, let me try to repair the miracle before you decide to destroy the world." She looks up and says, "Reb Chaim, your gifts to God did reach God. Don't you know what joy God took from your gifts? And Reb Yankel, don't you know that what you found each Shabbos did come from God? Your children's songs reached higher than the songs of the angels. It has been God's special joy to see this miracle renewed each week. But only if the miracle is repaired will God let the world to continue. Can't you two find a way to repair the miracle?" "Repair the miracle? How can we do that?" they both asked the rabbi. "Surely you can find a way. The world depends on it." And for the first time, Reb Chaim and Reb Yankel really looked at each other. Suddenly, each of them knew what needed to be done. So the following Shabbos, instead of opening the doors of the ark for his challah, his wine, and his hot dogs, and all the rest of his barbecue food, Reb Chaim opened the doors of his home to the family of Reb Yankel In return, his children, Reb Yankel's children, filled with Shabbat song and spirit the rooms of Reb Chaim's once lonely and empty mansion. And so the world continues, because those two people found a way to repair God's miracle. Good Shabbos. Rise and continue with Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. Please be seated.
At the top of page 18, in the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them.
In the blowing of the leaves and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
In the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them.
In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them.
When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. As long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Our minds now turn to those who are no longer with us. If you're remembering someone whose name is on our list, we invite you to rise as their name is said, and together we'll rise as a community for Kaddish at the end. We begin with the memory of over 1,046,000 Americans who've succumbed to COVID, over 6,375,500 in the world so far. We also remember those during the period of Shiva. Linda Seal, wife of Ed Seal, mother of Stephen, Dawn and Craig, mother-in-law to Shizuka and sister to Richard. Les Tinkler, father of Marissa Tinkler Mendez, Amer Sawicki, and Bethan Tinkler O'Rourke, father-in-law of David Strom, Mark Sawicki, Kevin O'Rourke, grandfather of Louis, Daniel, Sarah, Dory, and Isa Mendez, Bobby Speck, and Holly, and Elliot Pat, and Kate, and great-grandfather of Tucker Mendez. Les was the beloved companion of Mimi Leibovitz. Sheila Eskenazi, wife of Mario Eskenazi, mother of Michael Eskenazi, Michelle Eskenazi Valerio, and Craig Eskenazi, mother-in-law of Sandra Eskenazi, and Joao Valerio, grandmother to Emily Eskenazi and Shayna Lee, Alana Kaufman, Michael Eskenazi, and Mariah Eskenazi. She was the great-grandmother of Addison Lee, Xavier Kaufman, and Elias Kaufman. We also remember those during the period of Shiloshim, Corrine Batlin Altenhouse, Bert Stillman, Nathan Hindez. We remember those whose yard sites fall on this Shabbos. Summerbeth Adasco, Louis Agres, Benjamin Altschuler, Bert April, Sheila Aptaker, Morris Arden, Marcos Bacalar, Albert Barber, Jacob Bard, Edna Baum, Irving Baum, Rose Bain, Margaret Bierman, Archie Bonomo, Enid Brown, Gary Brownstein, Gertrude Chodos, Lillian Dean, Howard Esserman, Sidney Flagel, George Fox, Sam Friedman, Debbie Frost, Irving Futterman, Louis Garber, Sarah Malik Glazer, Shirley Goldstein, Edith Green, Harry Gross, Evelyn Gross, Cornelia Grossman, Ida Gwurtzman, Jerome Hammer, Leah Hirsch, Dr. Lou H. Jacobson, Dr. Moritz,
Lawrence Johnson, Benjamin Kabak, Robert Kazin, Jack Kipnis, Lawrence Kirsch, Bernice Kessler-Kornfeld, Lillian Kozan, Fanny Kugelmass, Jenny Lazar, Emmanuel Maldo, Helen Mednick, Frederick Mitkoff, Sydney Nyberg, Sydney Ostrowitz, Fanny Perlman, Julia Ramirez-Reyes, Lily Rosenblum, Carol Russ, Grace Schneiderman, Lawrence Seifter, Charles Selsky, Margie Semler, William Shapiro, Sylvan G. Chernow, Victor Sherman, Dorothy Siegler, Louis Arthur Sims, Irving Sobel, Herb Solomon, Michael Sussman, Doris Worski, Sam Trachtenberg, Glyn Waldman, Bernard Warman, Ida Wexler. And each week we call to mind 6 unique individuals who perished in the Shoah, the Holocaust. Pearl Pills, Reisel Podersky, Lyomo Schneider, Wolf Spotler, Matilda Galinsky, Yechezkel Levin.
We take all of those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish together on page 18. We rise. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma Divrach Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei. V'chaye Chon, U'vyome Chon, U'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala U'vizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam U'lalmei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh. V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. It is a source of peace, and peace to those who mourn and comfort to the bereaved. Together we say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Please be seated.
My honor to announce the temple offerings for this week. Offerings are in memory of Joel Poritz, Les Tinkler, Cindy Siplak, Lee Sperling, Linda Seal, and Sheila Eskenazi. Offerings are also made for the yard site of Evelyn Gross, Edith Green, Cornelia Grossman, Leah Dean, Sheila Aptaker, Margaret Bierman, Albert Gelfond, Leah Hirsch, Louis Agres, Rose Bain, Sydney Ostrowitz, Enid Brown, Abraham Welkin, Frederick Mitkoff, Marcos Bacalar, and Bernard Warman. Offerings are also in honor of Rabbi Pankin's 20th year at TSE.
I know I look like I'm 16, right?
The baby naming of Violet Simanowitz, the engagement of Caitlin Francisi and Adam Aptaker, the anniversary of Jane and Erwin Lieberman, the birth of Cameron Chase Minerva, and the birth of Alina Leah Shapiro. We also wish and pray for a complete and speedy recovery of Chris Rogan and Jane Lieberman.
And there's some really nice news. Did really well on your homework this week for good things. Mazel tov to Sharon and Jeffrey Aptaker on the engagement of their son Adam to Caitlin Francesi. Did I pronounce that right? Francis? What? Sharon and Jeff, tell me how to pronounce it next time I see you. Robert and Cindy Aaron on the birth of their son Max Alejandro Aaron, and Bernie and Susan Aaron on the birth of their grandson Max Alejandro Aaron. To Rona Burke and Mike Strasser on the birth of their granddaughter Alina Leah Shapiro, who is the grandchild of our beloved Debbie Strasser. And to Dan and Mindy Minerva on the birth of their grandson Cameron Chase Minerva. Any good things happen this week? Yes, Debbie.
Oh.
Heather closed on her first house yesterday. Mazel
Mazel
tov.
tov.
That's
That's
wonderful.
awesome.
Wonderful. Yes. Zachary turned 18.
All right.
Yom
Mazel tov.
Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach.
Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach.
Well, this section did really well. What about the rest of you? Yes, Lindsay. You're going back to sleepaway camp to Harlem? I just missed you. Ooh. But Rabbi Falco and Melissa will see you next session. Just for 2 days? Only 3 days? Okay, well, it's your
That's what
happy
counts.
place. Any other good news? Yes. Nice. He got $10 off of $1 scratch off, and he's meeting up with friends in Red Bank again. All the way in the back. Really loud. A sleepover. We're having a sleepover, you and me? You're having a sleepover tomorrow? Today? Today! Have a great sleepover. Is it your first sleepover? Nah. Oh, have a great time. That's fun. Any other good things? So Cantor and I got to go to Camp Harlem yesterday to visit the kids who were there for a session. We had 6 campers, one who was hiking, so we didn't get to see him, and a few staff members, and they were all having a good time. So if you have grandchildren and they're looking for something to do next summer, make sure to come and talk to one of us. We're happy to tell you about Camp Harlem or SciTech or Creative Arts. Lots of great opportunities for Jewish camping over the summer. And also, I just want to say how nice it is to see you. And you know who I'm talking to. I've missed you. So many nice faces back tonight. So hope to see you a lot for the rest of the summer. Any other good things? Yes. You're back. Tamima's back from California. They had to pull the baby from her hands, but she's here. She tried to take him on the plane. We're glad you're back. Just a note about the Shabbarbecue. So Scott and Brandon, our grill masters, have been hard at work making hot dogs and hamburgers. There are vegetarian and turkey burgers, all kinds of things. And so when you leave here, the way you want to do this is to go into the building and then down to the social hall, take your food, and then come back out here, and we'll eat outside.
It's a one-way street.
It is a
Down
one-way
the
street.
brick path. Follow the red brick path. down, in, and then out through the social hall doors.
So, let's have all the kids up here to help us say Motzi. Come on up. Come on, kiddies. All right, stand right here so everybody can see you.
Yeah. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Y'all can go back to your parents because we're going to end with a blessing. If you are here with people that you can bless and touch, feel free to grab them. If not, join me in putting your hands on your heart. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May you be blessed. May you be safe. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May you be luminous. May you be loved. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be joyous. May you be healthy. May you be whole. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos.